Hello, happy Monday. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I do apologize if you can hear Goni, my dog, in the background. He is having a full-on conversation with some of the neighbor dogs, so he's barking quite a bit. So I hope it's not that bad, but hopefully you can still hear me anyway. So welcome back to the live series here in the DPT to CEO Facebook group or on my YouTube channel. You should be able to find it. I think my channel name is just Morgan Weiss, or you might be listening to this on the podcast. But anyway, or here live, hi. I'm so glad that you're here. And if you can hear me okay, see me okay, just leave a thumbs up in the comments down below. But tonight I wanted to make a video and talk about this topic that may or may not be a little bit controversial, why I believe that building your own website is a mistake as a practice owner. And I know that that is a pretty bold statement. And I will say that there's definitely like an asterisk at the end of that. But I did just want to bring up a few different like reasons why building your own practice website could be a mistake for you. And just this is just like based on what I have seen from other practice owners and other therapists who are getting started on their own. And the biggest thing is that the websites that get built are either ineffective or they take way too much time away from the things that will actually like drive and grow your business when you are first getting started. And both of those things, like you have to be so effective and efficient as a new business owner and as a solo practice owner. If you're like me, like I'm a single person practice, that I hate seeing people getting bogged down in these details. And that's part of the reason why I've started working with practices and building websites, updating websites, and building out all of the digital marketing on the back end for them, because it's just not the thing that the practice owner wants to spend their time on, needs to spend their time on, and not necessarily one of their strengths. So if that's something that you're struggling with right now, please, shoot me a message or email me and let me know, and I'd be happy to help however I can. So let's jump into it. I've written out 6 different reasons so far. And, if you agree, disagree, please leave a comment and let me know what you think. And I'll be kind and polite here and everything. And this is just, like I said, it's based on what I've seen. It's not the end all be all by any means. You can probably hear Cody. Let's get into reason number 1. So, reason number 1 that making your own website could be a mistake for you as a newer practice owner is that you need or want to get your practice up and running as quickly as humanly possible. And by up and running, I mean seeing patients and making money from those services. And if you are spending all of your time right at the beginning trying to figure out how to build a website and what needs to go on it, rather than actually building relationships with people, letting your community know that you are available to hire for private services, and actually working with patients, then it's going to hold you back that much more time-wise. And I don't want to see that for you. Like we're all doing this so that we can create a better career for ourselves, enjoy being therapists, and also be able to treat patients in a way that feels good to us. And so if you get like really stuck on like the website or any digital marketing stuff, and that's what you're spending all of your time on, it's really not going to help you get anywhere. So if you are in a place where like you need or want to get your practice up and running within the next like 2 or 3 months, the website, if you're gonna take a crack at it, it needs to take less than 5 hours to put together. If it is taking much longer than that, or you find you're going back to it over and over and over again after a week has passed of you working on it, right at the beginning stages of your business, it's not what you need to be spending your time on. So that's one thing. The second reason why building your own website as a practice owner might be a mistake is if you're not necessarily technologically inclined. There are so many different options for building a website, from WordPress to Wix to Squarespace, GoDaddy, Google Sites. Let's see. I'm sure I'm like forgetting some of them. Web.com. What else have I seen? There's another one, I think, Webflow maybe, that I've seen. There are so many different website builder options, and that's like not even including things like ClickFunnels, Kajabi, MemberVault, Podia, Thinkable, or Teachable, and Thinkific, all of those other platforms. Those are just basic website builders. And if you do go with WordPress, trying to find some kind of like builder plugin plus a theme and being able to figure out how to use the platforms, not even just building the website, but trying to figure out like how do you even use WordPress and like make a functioning website. It takes so much time, I think, to try to figure out a lot of that stuff if you have no previous experience doing it. And again, it just leads us back to like in point one, you're going to end up spending so much extra time learning these things that are not the things that are going to directly make you money at the beginning. And like, I would much rather, see you either, start your practice with mainly using like social media, and having like your Facebook business page be your quote unquote website at the beginning, and see you like getting out into the community to network and get to know other professionals and potential patients or referral sources, and then spending all your time trying to figure out how to use WordPress. It's just not a good use of time. I feel like that's going to be like the entire video is just, your time is much better spent elsewhere than trying to figure out how to build a website. And so anyway, with all of those, I just think that it adds another thing to worry about to your plate. So if you are somebody who, struggles to use Google Drive, somebody who, isn't really sure entirely how like Gmail works, if you have no experience with like web design, web development, web building, you haven't really built anything on an online platform before, building your first practice website is probably not for you. So that's just something to keep in mind. I see so many people get bogged down in like the technological details and how to do things that it not only takes the time, but it distracts you from the things that are going to really matter. Reason number 3, that building your own website might be a mistake is if you tend to fall prey to analysis paralysis. With all of the different like web building platforms that I mentioned, I've seen people stay like stuck in this phase of trying to pick a website builder for literal months at a time because they're like cross comparing. Well, Wix does this, WordPress does that, Squarespace does this, and here's all the prices and the things that you could possibly do with them, and you just end up like getting really overwhelmed with all of the options that are there in front of you. Again, rather than working on the things that will really matter right at the beginning. And, not only just picking a builder, but then if you throw in trying to like add in themes or different like aspects of your website, like a blog, about page, a shop, resources page, services page, and you aren't even really sure like what to put on the website, which is actually point number 5, it's going to cause you a lot of stress trying to figure all of that stuff out as well, when you really need to be building relationships instead of stressing out about what needs to go on your website. So if you feel like you're somebody who like really is I don't know if like vulnerable to analysis paralysis is necessarily the right way to phrase it, but if you feel like that's something that like kind of has stopped you before, or thrown up like a speed bump in your path, building your own website might not be the best idea. And with all of this, if any of these are like ringing a bell for you, and you're thinking like maybe I do need help building a website, please let me know. Whether I end up like doing it for you or not, I can at least give you some direction on like what to pick and where to go and what I would suggest doing and why, just so that you don't have to spend your time on a bunch of this stuff. And, even if it's not me, I work with a website developer, and he works with a lot of small businesses. And so I'd be happy to share his information as well. So I guess like let's just jump right to point number 5. If you don't know what needs to go on a website, if you spend your time building that website, but it doesn't have what it needs and it's ineffective, that became a really inefficient use of your time. Everybody say with me, not a good use of your time. So like, just to give you an example, one of the like number one things that I see missing from practice websites is your contact and location information. If that is not on your website is no longer an effective marketing tool for your business. So that contact information, it needs to include, of course, like your business name, your name, the owner's name, a phone number, an email address, and then like any social media links, like ways that people can contact you, email, phone number, any social media that you have, along with your name. And it also needs to have your location information. So I'm talking like, of course, like address, city, state, and zip if you're, here in the US and you have a brick and mortar or a rented location, that needs to be on your website. Or at least like the location that you're somewhat in the region that you serve. If you're online only, great, then you need to put that. But that context information needs to be readily apparent. Because if somebody goes to your website and they can't figure out where you are or how to contact you, then like, how are we going to expect to get patients from it? And like, that's something that I know is a very common thought amongst us when we're first getting started in our practices, that if I just put up a website and sit by the phone, then all of a sudden I will get a bunch of patients. It is not true at all. People need to know how to contact you. And if you make it hard for them, they're going to leave your website. So it not only needs to be like clear how to contact you and where you're located, but it also needs to be easy, which is why I often suggest to put like your phone number in the header of the website, and make sure it's easy to see, it's easy to click on like the desktop version of the site, but also the mobile version, which might be even more important. Most website traffic now, in general, is on a mobile device. So you do need to make sure that your website is optimized for mobile and it's easy for people to contact you from that mobile platform. So if, they look for your website and they somehow make it there, but there's no way for them to contact you and they aren't even really sure how to get started, they are going to leave your website and go somewhere else. So, that stuff 100% needs to be on there. And there are quite a few other things that I always really, really recommend go on at least a homepage of a website. And I think I have like deep in the archives from probably 2 years ago, I do have another video on what needs to go on your website and how to kind of make what I call like a one-page website. So you should be able to find that somewhere on the YouTube channel or in the unit section of the Facebook group. But if you do have any trouble, just leave a comment down below and I'll see if I can find it as well. And some things have changed since I made that video. So also, if you would like, I can make an updated version of that, like what's required on a therapy practice website, a video to share with you and the rest of the people here watching what needs to go on your website, so that, if you do decide that it's in your best interest to make your own practice website, you at least know exactly what needs to go on there in order to make it effective. So please leave a comment if you would like me to make that video. And so going along with, not necessarily knowing what kind of information needs to go on your website, another reason why you building it on your own is not a good idea is if you don't have a good idea as to who you're trying to serve. So if you aren't even really sure what your services are, you aren't sure what the patient population is that you want to work with, you aren't sure of what the problem is that you want to solve, you're not sure what your ideal clients look like, what activities they do, how old they are. If you don't really understand who it is that you are trying to market to, you're going to end up creating like a digital brochure of sorts, or like a website that reflects your own professional accomplishments rather than representing the message of, here's our practice, this is who we serve, these are the problems that we solve, and if that sounds like you, here's how to contact us. Like that, it's so important to have like a clear representation of who it is you're trying to serve, specifically visually. Like patients are going to click onto your website and you have literal seconds, if not like, half seconds, to capture the attention span of the person who's on your website. And there goes Goni again. I think Kyle's home. So sorry again. There he goes. You have such a short time period to capture the attention of somebody who's come to your website. And if it visually does not create an experience where the visitor can relate to your practice in a way. So for example, like with my practice, I have a picture of a woman weightlifting because that's who I'm trying to work with. But, like if I wanted to work with a woman who was weightlifting, but I had a picture of a man golfing, like the woman who goes to my website looking for a therapist for weightlifters is going to visually see a man golfing and think like, okay, this is not like, I'm not in the right place. And she's going to click off of the website. So same thing for you in your practice. It needs to show people, like it needs to show them themselves almost, like in their dream state and where they really want to be in the future. And if it doesn't do that, then it's ineffective again. So, I've seen quite a few websites over the past week or so that really don't do the best job of visually representing their patient population. So, like, if you were to work with a website designer or builder, web developer, whatever, they would be able to like catch these little things here and there that otherwise might fall through the cracks. And they are essentially like a neutral third party that would be able to like look at your practice website from the outside and share with you a little bit more about what that user experience is like. And then the last thing that I want to mention here that, I I really think can limit the effectiveness of your website if you do decide to make your own. So a reason why making your own website might not be the best idea is if you don't know what SEO is or how to like do it or improve it. So SEO stands for search engine optimization and often goes along with SEM or search engine marketing. And this is like the Goni's running in the hallway. This is when you are able to take a look at the keywords and the structure of the website in like almost on like a code level of the title tags, the meta description, the header tags, the body text, and make sure that all of those things contain the keywords and descriptions that you need in order to capture people who are searching for those particular keywords. And if you don't know how to add those things in, then it's going to make it really difficult for people to organically find your website on Google, which is what we ultimately want. Is for people to be able to like search on Google for like PT OT near me and find your practice. But if your website doesn't contain the necessary elements to help your SEO, your website's not going to be able to be that easily found. So that would be like one thing that, like if you don't have that experience already with SEO, and you're not necessarily like a super quick learner with that, it might not be great to have you build your own website, and it would ultimately be more effective, time, money wise, marketing wise, to work with somebody who builds websites or they're a web developer and can help you with this stuff. There are even like SEO specialists. So say like you're really happy with your website the way it is, you can get like that kind of consulting where somebody can just help you with SEO too. And that's kind of the cool thing about like digital marketing stuff is you can usually find people who help with particular things, a niche, if you will. And it doesn't have to be like a full on like website build and everything. So I hope that the title of this video isn't too harsh. But I see a lot of really like honest hard work going into practice websites, and everybody is trying. And I always say, done is better than perfect. But when it comes to your marketing tools, you just really need to be careful about how much time you're spending on them. Like if you fall into any of these categories of things that I mentioned, and you are finding that you are spending like a lot of time or energy on your website, it is probably not in your best interest to be handling that yourself. Like I even ended up like, so in the DPT to CEO coaching program, I even ended up hiring on Spencer, like my website developer that I work with. He works with us now in the program so that all of the new students who come into the program, they get their website built by Spencer, because it was just it was taking so much time for the students in the program that it was just a better use of everybody's time and money to have somebody else build it for them, so that they didn't have to, like I mentioned, figure out how to use a website builder and what all the vocabulary means, and then build it. They could have somebody build it for them and also teach them how to use the platform. And that I believe has become a lot more effective and a lot more helpful. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. And like I mentioned, done is better than perfect. So kudos to you if you are building your own website. Something is better than nothing. But I also want to caution you, with building your own practice website, if you don't really have any experience prior, or at least going into it with the understanding that this website, if it's just, something better than nothing, and it doesn't really include everything that it needs to, it's probably not going to be the number one marketing tool that you have. And I would not bank on getting a billion patients from it right at the beginning. It takes time to like grow a website and build the traffic to it. And so you're going to see results from that website a lot sooner if you're able to start it right at the beginning with somebody who already like knows what they're doing and knows how to incorporate different SEO elements so that people are able to find it organically through Google. But I think that brings us to the end of this topic. Like I said, let me know what you think. And if you have any questions on anything else website related, but otherwise, I will plan to see you on the next one.